This is The Wheel Weaves, a Wheel of Time podcast with no spoilers. Hey everyone, I'm your host Annie, and I'm the first-time reader going through this series chapter by chapter. As always, there's no spoilers past the chapter we're covering, and that means it's totally safe for first-time readers. I'm joined by my co-host Brett, who's a longtime fan, and he is guiding me on this journey. We'd like to thank and acknowledge our executive producers, Brandy Nairn Kirkwood, Sean McGuire, Yanis, Albert Lorenzo, Light Blinded Fool, Davis Ferreira, and Kristen Gilreath. And before we get into things today, we just want to thank and welcome Jared and Coursouvra to the Wheel Weaves Patreon team. Thank you so much for your generosity and your support. We really, truly appreciate it. In this episode, we're talking about chapters 23 and 24 of Winter's Heart.
Yeah, chapter 23 is To Lose the Sun, and chapter 24 is Among the Counsels.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, we learn stuff.
We certainly do.
You get partial marks.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
For things.
Oh, yeah, okay, I guess so. I was gonna say, so there's a lot of name memorization.
Yeah, yep.
I didn't take notes.
Okay.
Like I probably should have.
Okay.
So I could really get a sense of who's who over here.
It's, again, one of those situations where it's all the people who you know and stuff has happened, but they're not, like, super major characters.
Right, yeah.
I can fill you in why the scenes are funny.
Yeah.
Based on who is talking and saying
that's
things.
what I'm gonna need.
Yeah, it's super easy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I personally found these two chapters more difficult to read than others.
Yeah, I mean, the important thing is, like, we're in a location now. We're all in Farmatting.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Okay.
We gotta talk about some timeline stuff.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair. Okay, we can talk about it when we get there.
Okay.
And for the fun fact, the most important thing that happens in this chapter, we find out why the sea folk are so good at being the sea folk.
Because they're good at navigation?
Yeah, they have the mighty sextant.
Oh, yes.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
So what's that and how does it work?
Yeah, it's like a telescope thinger.
Yeah, so here's the thing. It's the funny-looking quarter-circle, triangular-looking spyglass type thing. A lot of people have seen it, and probably the first thing you thought was, what the heck is that? It's sextant.
Of course it is.
So, yeah. The important thing is that the description, or the definition, it's a doubly reflecting navigation instrument that measures the angular distance between two visible objects. So, the primary use is to measure the angle between an astronomical object and the horizon for the purpose of navigation. So the funny thing is, like, this is why the sea folk are so good at being the sea folk.
They invented the sextant.
They basically invented it, they have it, and they keep it secret, and they don't share it with anybody else.
That's right.
So that's really good.
Mm-hmm.
So on a simpler base, you basically use a sextant by using the sun, the moon, the stars, and the horizon. You measure where you are. And, interestingly, the sextant's been around since about the 1700s.
Yeah.
But, like most fun fact stuff, there's a lot of contention in the sextant universe about, who invented it, whatever, all that stuff that we really are not going to get into.
Okay.
There's controversy.
I believe it.
Okay. But the important thing is that the instrument doesn't need, like, electricity or anything. It's just a tool.
It's like a telescopy thing.
Yeah, so it's still used today as a backup tool, even for, like, the U.S. Navy. Because they are extremely accurate when you use them properly.
I believe it.
But here's the thing. I started dipping into the origins of Wheel of Time a little bit.
Yes.
And there's tons of good information, but it's also full of spoilers. So, like, if you haven't finished the series, don't read it,
right.
Obviously.
That's the book by Michael Livingston.
Yes. Yeah. So I started to sift through it. And one of the references to the sea folk that's in it is that RJ likened them to the Polynesian people, and specifically the Maori. And the interesting comparison is that the early Polynesian people were some of the best wayfinders in history, and they were able to find their way across, like, huge stretches of the Pacific Ocean by using the sun, the stars, and other natural cues like waves and ocean swells and seabirds.
Yeah, I've heard the song in Moana.
Exactly, which actually has some historical relevance.
I'm sure it does.
And storytelling.
Yeah.
But it puts a lot of meaning into the sea folk chapter symbol, which is the birds, the star, the waves.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Good.
It all connects.
Yeah. All right. Well, last time we were here, Egianin and Baeldomin were hanging out in Nebudar and, like, doing some stuff.
Yep.
And then we found out that Rand was in Farmatting attacking.
Also doing stuff.
But also being attacked by Dark Friend Ashamen.
Yes. That's a real brief summary.
And then He decides he needs to leave ASAP, which matters for these chapters because timeline question mark.
Yes,
Which
okay.
we're going to have some discussion. I think I know where I land.
Okay.
But.
Okay.
Gotta
Yeah,
talk
we'll talk
that.
about it here.
Plus, we did get a disturbing Slayer POV.
Yeah, and Fane killed the guy.
And Fane killed a guy.
Yeah, so
That's
we're
right.
all maybe
because Fane's
possibly...
here too.
Fane might be here right now too.
Might be,
We're all possibly all in formatting right now, maybe.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, let's get into it.
Okay. So chapter 23 is called To Lose the Sun. And the chapter symbol is a new one. Now, here's the thing. My book, the way it's printed, the symbol is really dark.
Oh, yeah.
And like hard to see and it's weird.
Yep.
I made out that there's a hand,
Yep.
I think.
Yep.
Or a glove of some kind.
It's a hand.
And another little thing.
It's like an oval.
And then also like a line.
A sword.
A sword.
Yep. Hand and a sword and a little oval.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the formatting sigil. That's
formatting's
Yes.
sigil.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's what it is. We get a description of the sigil later on, so that's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Now, we enter in a perspective that I don't think we've been in before.
Yeah, I don't think we've had her... we know who she is.
So she's Shalon.
Yeah.
And she's the one who got tied and bound under a bed with her mistress.
Yes, Lady Aelil.
Yes.
So back in chapter 13, we had the two sea folk, Hareen and Dara, who went to Cadsuin to demand Shalon back. And then Cadsuin basically told them to shove it. And then that's also...
And then that's when we got Varen confirming that she got some secrets out of her.
Exactly, that they're in the affair. And we get a lot of that recap on, that situation. Because we're inside her head for these two chapters, pretty much.
Yeah, and it's just a lot of her trying to figure out what's happening with Aes Sedai.
And not really understanding it.
And not knowing it at all, actually.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really help.
No, it doesn't.
No.
So we get that she is a windfinder, which means she can channel.
Yes.
Which is important for this.
Yeah.
She's on a horse. She's super uncomfortable on horses. They're in Cairhien, and she's following the wave mistress Hareen.
Yeah.
And her sword master through a hole in the air to somewhere they don't know.
Yes.
Traveling.
That's what's happening.
Now, Cadsuin is also here holding the gateway open, and Shalon wasn't allowed to see the gateway being made, but she really wants to learn this weave.
Yeah, so just as a recap for who Hareen is, so she's the one who Min had a viewing of.
Yeah, we get that later this chapter.
Yeah, becoming the new mistress of the ships.
Right.
And we know that Nesta is dead.
Mm-hmm.
So
head's chopped off by the Shanshan.
At any point that we learn that, we don't actually know the process, but there's an opening.
Yes.
There's a vacancy in the position. So
okay, that's true.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's currently no mistress of the ships of the Athyn-Mier.
That's true.
All right.
Okay. Well, we also get that Shalon just hates everything that's going on here.
Yeah,
hates it. Now, this is where things start getting tricky for me.
Okay.
Because we get names, and more names.
Yes.
We get some Aes Sedai riding through the gateway with some warders.
Yep.
And the most important thing here that I took out of this is that Alana is awake.
Yes.
Alana woke up.
Because the last time we saw Alana...
she was sleeping. And she wouldn't wake up.
She was unconscious.
Yeah.
I don't know if we call it sleeping.
Well, okay.
Pretending to be asleep also maybe a little bit.
Just didn't want to wake up.
Didn't
want to
wake
deal
up.
with it.
Because of the triple bonding
Because of the triple
slash
bonding.
maybe the sex.
Well, yeah, definitely the triple bonding.
Okay. Well, maybe it's a combination here.
No.
So, just as a recap on who's here, because it is a ton of people. The important people, Alana is here with her warder.
Yeah.
And this is a big cue because Alana clearly feels where Rand is.
Yes.
Like, she knows.
Yes.
So, we're kind of watching Alana and her movements.
Yeah.
We've got Varen and Thomas. And then we've got Daigian, which is Cadsuin's sidekick, with her Ashaman, warder,
who is
situation.
Eben Hopwell.
Yeah, Hopwell. And then we've got Kumira, who's a brown, and we don't know much about her. We've got Nasoon, which I thought you'd pick up on because she's in bronze wool. You're looking at the bronze.
Oh, nope.
You didn't even watch? Okay.
Didn't even care.
That was like the first time I ever seen the word bronze here.
Oh my gosh.
I don't pay attention to the clothes, and you were all over it last time.
And I didn't this time.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh my.
But we basically have the 5 Aes Sedai who are Datsang, who are now here too.
Oh, okay.
So those 5 are all here.
So is that why there's less warders here? Because some of their warders are dead? From, like, do Mai's wells.
Well, no, and Shallan also doesn't understand the water to Aes Sedai ratio, how it can work in the real world, so...
Okay.
Like, it's not a 1-to-1. We know that.
Okay, but also some of their warders are presumably missing.
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, at this point, Hareen starts grumbling about her terrible situation, and Cadsuane told her she may have the chance to see the Cormor, and that's not the way the bargain should work.
Yeah.
She should definitely get to see the Cormor.
Yeah, she doesn't like her situation at all.
No. And then this is where we get even more Aes Sedai names of even more Aes Sedai coming through the gateway.
Yeah.
And we get Shallan does not know the dynamics at play.
No. It's not as confusing with the Aes Sedai, because it's Cadsuane, her 2 sidekicks, Corral and Daigen, Alana Varen, and then the 5 Datsang Aes Sedai. Like, that's who's here.
Okay.
And then Warders, and then the Sea Folk.
Okay. That's our crew.
Yeah.
Traveling crew.
Yeah.
So, we get some of Shallan's thoughts while this is all going on. Actually, this whole thing is basically just her thoughts.
It's all her thoughts, yeah.
So, some of her thoughts here are Hareen and Sea Folk romantic relationships.
Yeah.
Which I was like, okay, thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
Is there anything I should know there?
No, Hareen and her Swordmaster don't have a romantic relationship.
Yeah, but I thought there was an interesting line, actually, that said Hareen would never take a man to bed who's below her station.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now that means she can never take a man to bed. And I thought that was a weird cryptic way of saying maybe now she's, like, really low down or something.
Okay.
Like, I didn't know, because in the
okay.
Sea Folk, when, like, if somebody dies, then you also...
So the
go down
Windfinder,
low.
if, like, your, Wave Mistress dies, then you get, like, demoted.
Yeah.
So Nesta's Windfinder gets, like, bumped all the way down.
I didn't know if Hareen, like, got demoted in some way. It was just a weird sentence, and we can just move on from
we can move on, because that's not what happened.
Okay.
No. But, I mean, also, with Hareen and Shallan's relationship, like, they're sisters.
Yes.
But Hareen's the younger sister.
Yes.
But she's also, like, super... I don't even know what the word you want to attach to her is. Bullheaded, sort of aggressive. We know that nepotism in the Sea Folk is, like, super frowned upon.
Oh, yeah, so people
she's,
are
like,
even
meaner.
harder
Yeah.
on their siblings. Yeah.
And it's, like, it's a weird dynamic because it's, like, your older sister...
Yeah.
your younger sister being meaner to the older sister. It's, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a whole lot of things happening.
It's a lot of things.
Yeah.
Shallan also wonders about the Aes Sedai organizational structure, and so she's trying to watch them, and I learned a new word.
Oh, what's the word?
So, Shallan is watching the Sea Folk surreptitiously.
Okay. I've heard the word. I don't know how to use it.
Yeah, so surreptitiously, thanks to Google Dictionary, means in a way that attempts to avoid notice or attention secretively.
Sneakily. Sneaky.
Yes.
Okay.
Surreptitiously.
Yeah, because also in her thought, she's like, I wish that they wore earrings and stuff like us because I can really tell rank. But with Aes Sedai, like, do they have no structure?
Yeah.
And then later on, she figures out that they have structure, just the strength.
Yes.
And it's a weird way to think about it, so...
Yeah.
There you go.
And then this is where we find out that Hareen is a hard ass, and her little sister and Min had a viewing about her being mistress of the ships one day.
It's all the stuff.
It's all in there.
And since she found out about that, she's even a bigger hard ass. Yeah. It's a whole lot.
It's a whole thing.
Yep.
So, Shallan figures right now that they are about 300 to 400 leagues south of Cairhien.
Mm-hmm.
And normally, Hareen would really punish her for giving such a vague description of where they are.
Yep.
But it seems like Hareen is thinking about the Sea Folk learning traveling, because the fact that we just traveled...
She's like,
400 leagues...
Yeah. And Hareen's like, hey,
air.
What if we can do that with boats?
Yeah.
Then we can really rule the ocean
well,
because we can move our
said.
boat. That's the question.
A giant one.
A giant one. We saw at the end of the last book with Egwene. Gigantic. Huge. Does it transfer? Can you do it with
we've
boats?
had this discussion several times about the water.
How big?
Because the water would move through the gateway too.
Which, I mean, isn't the end of the world, but it's like the up and down motion of the boat, because like the ocean isn't steady, right?
We gotta make sure the gateway's tall enough.
It'd have to be a calm day.
Or maybe you could gateway from ship deck to ship deck.
Yeah.
Or like from land to your ship.
But then like the ship deck moves up and down, side to side.
I bet that part doesn't matter as much.
But then the gateway doesn't move with the ship.
It might.
It'd slice your boat in half. Oh, man.
Oh, I forgot. Gateways did that.
Yeah, they cut stuff real good.
Oh, yeah.
You don't want that. You don't want that on a boat.
You don't want that at all.
No.
Masks getting cut off.
Right.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Okay.
I say we avoid it.
Yeah, but I still think that they should learn how to do it. It's only fair. Everyone else knows.
Uh-huh.
It's only fair.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
But Hareen's plan here is to get Shallan to buddy up with Cadsuane.
Yeah.
To learn this information.
It's a very convoluted, like, this entire 2 chapters.
You tell her that you're gonna spy on me.
And Cadsuane already wants Shallan to spy on Hareen, but then Shallan's like, I really don't want anyone making me spy, because then the secrets that I don't want to share are going to come out for sure.
Yeah.
Which is the affair thing.
Yeah.
Which,
and probably
of all
other things too,
you
realistically.
I mean, we're in her thought process, but, like, the worst thing she thinks about is, like, that's going to really get her into huge trouble and maybe get a divorce. Which, is fair, because...
Well, it might be... It's less than getting... It's not less than. It's worse than getting a divorce.
Yeah.
Because if her husband breaks the marriage vows, then, like, she's demoted and has to live a really shitty life.
Terrible.
So...
Anyway, she's got to figure it out.
You got to keep that mistress hidden.
Rock in a hard place.
That's the lesson we learn here.
That's right.
That's the lesson.
Don't get conked on the head by Randall Thor and tied up and put under bed.
With your mistress.
With your mistress. That's the worst. Hate when that happens. Okay.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
All right, that's the summary. That's basically what happens in this chapter here.
That's it. Okay. So, now, an Aes Sedai comes up to them.
Yeah.
It's Sarene.
Sarene. She's important because, so remember when Hareen got booted out of the conversation when she was demanding that they return Shallan? Like, she was demanding Cadsuane return her. Mm-hmm. And then Cadsuane was like, okay, I'm going to do this diplomatically. And then she proceeds to do it not diplomatically.
Yes.
So she orders Sarene to escort Hareen, which is terrible. Like, why would we name them Hareen and Sarene? Mm-hmm. Anyways, Cadsuane picked Sarene to escort Hareen back to her rooms and said, if they step out of line, you can spank her.
Right.
And then the undertones of this entire chapter is that Sarene definitely spanked Hareen, the sea folk.
All right.
That happened. So that's what all the weirdness is between Hareen and Sarene.
Got it. You know, it's spelled different.
I know it is, but it's like maybe I'm pronouncing that. Yeah. Serene. There you go. Serene and Hareen.
No, don't say that. Okay. That sounds terrible. Okay, well anyway, Sarene comes up and is like, Cadsuane ordered that I be your attendant here. And then Shallan thinks that Hareen will find this very funny because an attendant basically just means servant.
Yeah, and then Aes Sedai as a servant is funny.
It's funny, but instead of laughing, Hareen starts going off again about not having to listen to anyone except the mistress of the ships, and she demands respect.
Yeah.
And then Sarene says, you must understand that she gave me quite specific instructions that day.
Cadsuane, yeah.
But I should not have lost my temper.
Yeah, so Sarene followed the instructions that Cadsuane gave, and Hareen stepped out of line, and then Sarene spanked her.
Yeah, and then Hareen goes off about how things were carried out, so they should be forgotten. We don't have to talk about this. And Shallan does not understand what's going on. And to be honest, until you just said the spanking thing,
the spanking thing,
I also had no idea what was going on.
That's the entire undertones. And then also Sarene is a white.
You have to remember who people are.
Yeah.
From chapters and chapters ago, and it's just impossible.
Yeah, for sure. And then it also doesn't help that Sarene is a white Aja, so she's like super logical and philosophical and stuff. Mm-hmm. So she finally cues in that Hareen just wants to like sweep this under the table, and she's like, "Oh, I guess I can pretend to forget, but I'm not actually going to forget."
Yeah,
it's like, yeah, man, no, I get that. So, anyways.
Yeah.
It really has no bearing on anything else.
Nothing. Literally nothing. We can move on.
Yeah, okay.
We can move on from this. None of this even actually has to be discussed.
Let's get to where we're going.
Okay. It's formatting.
We're going to formatting.
We're going to formatting, and Hareen wants to know if Rand is here, and I also want to know if Rand is here. Mm-hmm. And I've settled on yes.
Yes. Why?
Because of Alana.
Yeah, Alana.
Alana clearly knows Rand is here. She's very eager to get to Rand.
And she tries to, like, bail a couple of times. And Cadsuane's like, no. So.
Yeah. So we get a lot of back and forth about Cadsuane telling them to be patient, not giving them real answers about things.
Yep.
They all ride off following Cadsuane. And
Shallan thinks about a lot of things and doesn't understand things.
Mostly that's what's going on.
Yep. More about her broken marriage vows and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what that's
all
it.
of
Yeah,
that.
no, we got it.
And then also she sees Alana looking super intent on whatever is ahead of them, but Cadsuane and Varen keep reeling her in, and they seem to be treating her like a woman recovering from an illness, but she doesn't understand any of it.
Yeah, and that's probably Alana recovering from the triple bonding. So, do you think that Alana told Cadsuane and Varen about that? Because, like, clearly she blacked out for a while.
Yeah.
Do you think she told them what happened?
Yes.
Or what she thinks happened?
Yes.
Because we don't know.
I don't think that anybody
Yeah.
cannot tell Cadsuane something
Fair.
that Cadsuane wants to know.
Fair. And
Especially an Aes Sedai.
Yeah.
And especially Alana.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't seem like the strongest person I've ever met right now in this instant.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I get that.
So,
she's like more off her game probably
Yeah.
because of this too. So.
yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Cadsuane knows.
I think so.
Okay.
Now, Shallan keeps trying to figure out Aes Sedai dynamics. That's the whole theme of this chapter. But she also notes that she expected more warders. And this is where we get that there are only 7 warders, but 12 Aes Sedai.
Yeah, and she's not even sure that the 7 warders are actually warders, because this is where we get that the Ashaman, so we've got Narishma, Flynn, and Hopwell, who she's noted are Ashaman, but now they're super cozy with the Aes Sedai.
3 of them.
Yeah, so Narishma seems to be super cozy with Maurice, Flynn's cozy with Corell, and Hopwell's with Daigian.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 of Cadsuane's lackeys and
So it's hard
Maurice,
to say
yeah.
which way the bonding goes, or if it also goes back and forth. Because it really does feel like they were bonded as warders.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough.
I got
yeah.
really scared for a moment.
Why?
Well, because all of a sudden, Serene says,
Oh, yeah.
the men can no longer channel.
Right.
And Shallan's like, why not? Did you gentle them? And I went,
Oh, no, you just
no, don't do
gentled
it.
these 3, like
Don't
Rand's
do
closest
it.
Ashaman?
Don't do it. And
Yeah.
then she's like, well, you don't need to know about any of that. And she's like, was that why you bonded them? Because you gentled them? She's like trying to figure this out. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh my God,
That's
say
true.
it isn't so.
That's true. Yeah, it's not so.
No, it's
that didn't
not.
happen.
It's because of formatting.
It's formatting, yeah. Because you do get partial points.
Yeah.
Partial points because...
Well, you really led me there.
Okay, but here's the
I would
thing.
not have figured that out on my own.
Here's the thing.
Not even remotely.
But here's the thing. It's painted out in a lot of different ways.
But
definitely
to be honest, you were very gung-ho about telling me all of the things I should have picked up on that I did not pick up on. And you led me on a leading string.
Okay. The reason...
straight to the answer. So that's not a point for me. And it's actually minus 10 points for you.
No.
Because
let me
you
justify
gotta
it.
let me get there myself.
Let me justify it.
No, I'm mad at you for it.
I wanted you to have the experience.
I listened back.
Yeah.
And I'm mad.
I asked you a bunch of questions. I wanted to lead you on the question and answer string of getting you to the point where you think it's a steading, because that's the reasonable answer for anyone who ever read the series. But I
didn't get there on my own even remotely, and you shouldn't lead me so much.
Hey, come on now.
No, this is one I'm putting my foot down on.
Fine, I'll never tell you anything ever again.
Well, that's hardly what I just said.
But then it's not a steading. That's the best part.
It's not a steading.
Not even at all.
Well...
It's a non-steading.
They specifically say it mimics a steading.
Sort of.
No, they say it does.
But not the way that an Ogier would like.
Well, no, because it doesn't have, like, trees and stuff.
Well, it probably doesn't cancel out the longing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, sure.
That would be the important part.
in all the ways it matters to a channeler, it's a steading.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a non-steading.
For sure.
Non-steading.
And they use that word.
It's great.
So, yeah, but I am not taking... the points, because they're not mine to take.
Fine, whatever.
Anyway, it's Angriel. Terangriel?
Terangriel.
It's Terangriel.
Yeah, it's
or
1 or maybe 3. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's 1. Because we get it, we see it, right? That's what the Guardian thing is?
Yeah.
That is it?
Yeah, that's the Guardian. The Guardian is the Terangriel, is the steading.
It looks like 1.
It has 3 separate effects from from what it looks like.
Okay, let's wait till we get there to talk about it then.
Yeah, so we can talk about that.
Okay. But a side note that's really funny is the Sea Folk don't believe in Ogier.
Right. Yes, that is a little side tidbit here. Like, as a people, they've never run into Ogier ever.
Yeah.
Seems kind of crazy, because they travel and they trade and they do all the stuff all over the place.
Not with Ogier.
Apparently not.
No.
Yeah.
Ogier and Steadings are just fables. And there's like a funny rhyme.
Here come the Aelfin to steal all your bread. Here come the Ogier to chop off your head.
Yeah.
There you go.
And if anything, it's the other way around. Because we've met the Aelfin too.
Well, they don't necessarily chop off your head, but they will steal your bread.
The foxes?
Yeah, you don't know that yet.
Oh, I don't know.
No. Aelfin and the Eelfin.
Oh, we don't know.
We don't know that, yeah.
I think eel are like snakes.
Yeah,
That's what I think
that
of
would
in
be
my
what
head.
people think, yeah.
Oh, so it's the opposite?
Maybe. Oh, man. It's just one of those things you don't know.
It is. I'm waiting. I think that we're going to get this thing
Snakes,
sorted real
Snakes
soon.
and the Foxes.
Moraine is going to
now.
have so much to tell us.
She'll be like, I figured out which are which.
Yeah. Well, she's only can see one of them. She went through one doorway, right?
Well, maybe.
I don't know.
How does that work?
I don't know, but she'll have a lot to tell us for sure.
Okay.
Okay.
But we have met Ogier now who do look like they'll chop off your head.
Well, the Seanchan ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, and that makes sense too, because the sea folk probably might have had some, like, defective Seanchan or something. You know what I mean? Like,
okay.
Perhaps at some points, like,
sure.
Sharing some stories.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Okay. No. That's
Do a lot of Seanchan defect? I don't know.
They might.
Okay.
You never know. A couple of runaways.
That's true.
I'm from Shara.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Yeah. Hmm.
That's
Okay.
different, and she's back with the Seanchan now.
I know.
She didn't defect.
No, she got left behind with her elephants.
Yeah.
Okay. We do get a side note about how Hareen is excited that the Aes Sedai won't be able to channel and make some veiled threats about teaching Sarene a lesson.
Yeah. And
Which
then there's
makes way more sense now that I understand the spanking thing.
Yeah, because now she's like, oh, you can't channel because Hareen can't channel, so now they're like on equal footing where she can now teach her a lesson.
Yeah, well, and then this is where there's kind of like a funny little thing where Sarene either on purpose misunderstands or not on purpose misunderstands what Hareen is like talking about with philosophies and instructions and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Honestly, from everything else, I'd say that's like not on purpose. Like she just thinks she's talking about a philosophical paper.
I don't know. I think that it's all from Shallan's point of view, and
Yeah.
I think that maybe Sarene
Okay.
is like messing with her. I think that that's more funny.
Do whites have a sense of humor, though?
No, this wouldn't be out of sense of humor. This would be out of, I'm more powerful than you.
Okay.
And I'm just going to go along with what you're saying so that you don't have power, I do.
I like it. Okay.
Yeah, but to us, it's funny.
Yeah. And confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay, so as they get closer to the city, Shallan's a bit nervous, afraid. What are things going to be like? She's never not felt the source before.
Yeah, she's been shielded, but she's never been cut off or anything.
Right,
So.
and she thinks about what it would be like to lose the sun.
Yeah, so there's the chapter title.
There it is.
Got it, okay.
So they keep moving, and then finally and abruptly, the source vanishes, and it's just gone.
Yep.
So they go through some little village, they get up to a bunch of guards who are all geared up. Cadsuin gives a fat purse of money to one of the soldiers, and they start taking down names.
Yeah. And then we get a whole description of, like, basically the entrance points of how you get into Farmatting and the peace bonds and how it all works.
Yeah, and it's, like, a little bit more important that we got a map, so we got to, like, see the three bridges.
Yeah, yeah, because Farmatting is an island.
Yeah, on a lake.
On a lake. Yeah, so it works. And there's 3 bridges in, and you have to check in at one of the bridges, and you have 2 options. You can either give over your sword, or you can
leave by the same gate.
And leave by the same gate, or put your peace bond on, and then when you leave, then they're going to inspect it, and then if it's broken or cut, like we saw in the last chapters, then they're going to
have trouble leaving.
A lot of trouble, yeah. They're going to basically imprison you, and even if you didn't cause any trouble, you're still like going to get beaten and fined, basically.
Well, yeah.
So,
good thing Rochade's dead and doesn't have to worry about that.
Phew. Yeah,
Because
exactly.
I was like, oh, that guy's peace bond was cut. He's going to get in trouble.
Yeah, no,
but,
he's dead. Mm-hmm. And so is the other guy. And Rand said he would have had to leave his sword behind. So it seems like
like he'd have to go through a different gate.
Yeah, we don't exactly. It's not exactly clear, like
Yeah.
if he just left it at one of the gates. So yeah, but anyways.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it's not totally clear.
Yeah, because he would have probably given a fake name too.
Well, he wouldn't have said, "I'm Randall Thor from the Two Rivers."
I'm the Dragon Reborn.
I'm the Dragon Reborn.
I'm the MF Dragon Reborn.
Yeah.
No, he's in disguise.
Right.
See my black hair?
And here's the thing about when you live in Randland and there's no ID cards, when they ask what your name is, you can just say anything, and they kind of have to take you at your word.
Yep.
There you go.
There you go. Say it with confidence.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, what I find actually kind of interesting is that Serene's like, oh, they take the names of all foreigners and have to explain this. But before Kyrian fell, this happened too. Remember when Rand had to go and give his name in the book of at the gate?
Yeah.
And he was like asking if there's a Serene here.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to have a check-in process for people. Like, it's not bad.
This isn't the only place that ever does this.
No, they're just a lot more strict on, like, that you can't bring your swords in at all.
The sword thing.
Yeah, so that's the main
Right, and then we do get an explanation about the peace bonds, and that's why Cadsuane paid for this service.
Yes, you have to pay for the peace bond, which is why most foreigners just leave their swords at the gate to save money, because, like, you can't bring it in anyways or use it, so what's the point of having it and wasting money?
Yeah.
Besides, it's like a status thing, so...
Okay, so Hareen thinks that this is all super stupid and wants to know how her sword master is supposed to defend himself if he doesn't have his sword ready.
Yeah, throat punches.
Throat punches.
That's
throat
how
grabs.
Throat grab
and
squeezes.
Throat bites.
And throat bites.
Yep.
That's how you defend yourself.
But the guard is like, no need. That's what the street guards are for.
They have their bags to bring the criminals around in.
Yeah. And then we just move on. Basically. The warders get their swords all piece bonded in wires, and we're ready to head into the city.
Yeah.
So there's a description of the big bridge and the boats and the towers and the island.
Shallan feels really trapped here.
Yeah.
Because not only is she like trapped here, but she's like trapped here because she can't channel.
Mm-hmm.
It's a whole lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm. And all she can focus on is the fact that the source is gone.
Yeah.
And that is bad.
All right. We're here. We're in Farmatting.
We're here. And that's the end of this chapter, so let's take a quick break and then we'll come back.
All right.
Okay, so getting into chapter 24, we're going to get some other people kind of talking and some more things going on than just like riding.
Shallan right now is kind of like the Elaine of the Sea Folk, where she's here and it's her perspective, but none of this is really about her.
Nothing has to do with her at all.
Yeah, it's just her observing everyone else doing things and like learning information.
So that we can learn information.
Yeah. But like we could do this from, I guess it's not as good from someone who knows stuff.
Like Cadsuane.
Yeah, or like a Varen, or like one of the Aes Sedai who like knows what's going on in Farmatting clearly. So yeah, okay.
All right. So chapter 24 is called Among the Counsels.
Yep.
And the chapter symbol's the Flame of Tarvalon.
Yeah.
For the Aes Sedai stuff, I guess?
Yeah.
Okay. So, remaining in Shallan's perspective, continuing immediately from last chapter, we're in Farmatting, and Serene says it's in there, in the Hall of the Councils beneath the dome.
Yeah,
it's
the triangle.
Crazy to think the effect is worse just because we're close, but it really does feel that way.
Yeah, because they're all cut off from the source right now, so we're all in the same boat.
Yeah. And then we also get a really big description of the Hall of the Council's building.
Yes. I mean, this is the first time we've been here.
Yep.
Like, as is tradition, we need some sort of description.
So much description.
Yeah.
Now, Cadsuane is leading the way, riding through the big open gates towards the stables, and then some guard guy comes running up and is like, no, you guys are in the wrong place.
This isn't for you,
This isn't for you. Turn around. And then Cadsuane is like, tell the first council that Cadsuane is here.
Yeah.
And then the guard is like, Cadsuane, I thought you were dead?
Probably dead. Yeah. I mean, everybody thought she was dead.
And then he's like, okay, I'll show you and your group to the waiting room. And Cadsuane's like, no.
Do it now.
Run, tell her I'm here.
Yeah.
And tell her I'm in the dome and I don't have all day.
Yeah.
And so the guard sets off running. So Cadsuane has some pull.
Yeah.
Here, and they know her.
I mean, that's basically how she treats literally everyone all the time, though.
Yeah, but this person jumped at the name Cadsuane.
Yeah.
Because if she tried to do this in some random stable somewhere else who don't really know her, they'd be like, oh, pushy lady, but not like, Cadsuane.
Yeah, there's two little tidbits of information we get in this chapter. One is that Cadsuane is from here.
Yes, born here.
Yeah, and then the second thing is that...
She hasn't been here in 20 years.
Because the last time, 20 years ago, during the Aiel War, she made a disturbance of some nature that left a lot of people with a bad taste in their mouth about Cadsuane.
Interesting.
Which kind of seems on point for Cadsuane. Like, that's how she
Real
does
on
it.
par.
Yeah, it's like, that's how she does it.
Yes. Now, Alana here is apparently in the middle of trying to wander off through the gate.
Right.
And Katswin
She wants
is
to go
like,
find Rand.
hey, get your butt back here. And so Shallan notices that Narishma isn't with them anymore.
That's important for later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a plan here.
There's a plan.
Yeah, they have a plan. So Narishma, a male channeler, is currently not here.
Okay.
Okay. Keep that in mind for later.
I think it's coming together.
Yeah. It's like a little bit subtle, but it's not like a secret.
Yeah, I kind of picked it up and I was like, why? That's weird. But maybe I'll figure it out.
Okay.
So we get a little history lesson from Serene that the first council is like sort of the ruler of Farmatting. Even though there are other councils, she's considered, quote, first among equals.
It's kind of like the Council on Nine with Ilion.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
Because there's like a bunch of them, but like clearly
Same
there's a
with Tyr,
favorite.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
With all the High Lords.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's like same. Okay. Kind of the same situation.
Okay, so Katswin tells Hareen and Shallan that they can both come with her, so they get led into the building, and then there's tons and tons and tons more description.
Walking down the halls, doing things.
They finally get to the big old dome.
Which is the important part. It's the Guardian.
It's huge.
Yeah.
So there's some gaping at the sight of this. It is a huge blue dome, 100 feet high, and there's nothing holding it up.
Except?
Itself.
Magic.
Oh, magic.
Well, it's clearly magic.
Okay.
It's a giant Terangirel.
Yeah.
Made by Aes Sedai. Like, it's magic.
Okay. So, they're on this big old balcony.
Yeah. Around the outer edge of the dome, it seems like.
I thought they were like...
It could be the outer edge, or there's like an actual balcony
I thought
that you
there's
can
a
look
balcony
down on. Yeah.
that like goes in under the dome.
Yeah. So the dome is above, but the important stuff is like below.
Yes. But there's a balcony.
Yeah, so you can like look over the edge.
You can go out to the balcony, and then there are 3 doorways that lead from this balcony.
Yeah.
So it seems like the balcony that goes out to look at this thing.
Yeah, down below.
Yeah, I didn't think of it as all the way around.
I always imagine like there's probably entrance points like around too. I don't know.
It says there's 3.
Yeah, like around.
No, but you wouldn't know that.
I don't know.
I picture it being like really big.
Yeah. I always think of like the the mental image I always get for it is in Star Wars, the Luke Skywalker thing where he falls and loses his hand. It's like the big domey thing.
Okay.
But it's
there's like a little walkway and a little...
That's kind of like the mental image that I always had, because it's like big domey, kind of colorful.
But the floor is like really not far.
It's not actually, it's like 20 feet down. So instead of like Luke falling really far, he would fall far enough to like really hurt his ankle or something.
Yeah.
And then he's just like,
and also
he's
people
there.
Would be like, don't touch
there's
it.
also people down there.
Oh, there's people down there? You just like walk around on these things?
There's literally 3 ladies on stools who are down below with the Guardian looking at the stuff.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they're like on little stools beside.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah.
Okay. Whatever. However this looks.
It doesn't matter.
We're on the balcony.
Let's go with the Luke Skywalker one.
No, that's not for my brain. But that's okay. You can have that.
Okay, I'll keep that for myself.
I'll have my own.
Okay.
That's fine. Okay, but nobody else is here.
Yeah.
And Katswin is super happy about that.
Yeah, it's a power move. Like,
Yeah.
she wants the first council to get here.
When she's like waiting for them.
Yeah.
That's why she was going so fast.
Yeah.
Because when we were getting description of the place, Shallan. I was gonna combine their name, Hareen and Shallan.
Yeah.
We're trying to keep up with Katswin going super fast. And they're like, our legs are tired. We just rode a horse.
Uh-huh.
We don't know how to do that.
So here's the thing. Did you pick up on, there's like a really subtle thing about the echoing going on here.
No.
Okay. So I'm going to point this out.
I was going to pick up on Varen looking back encouragingly at them.
No, she's like, come on guys, you're doing good. Varen's the encouraging, like, old grandma.
Yeah.
It's great. So, okay. We know that nobody can channel here right now. Right? Now, when Katswin tells Kumira to show the sea folk the Guardian, like explain everything, there's soft echoing from her voice going through the dome. But then Katswin and Varen go off and they put their heads together to talk, and there's no echo from their whispering at all. And then even from Kumira talking really quietly right like after that to the sea folk and explaining all this stuff, even that produces like a soft sound, if not even an echo, but there's still like sound because the dome clearly amplifies and echoes the sound.
Okay.
But specifically Katswin and Varen, when they're talking, no echoing, nothing, no sound is passing.
Okay. Good note.
Good note. Write it down.
No, I won't.
In your booklet of things that I always talk about.
I actually was thinking about how I should start a notebook.
There should have been.
Like from the beginning.
Yeah.
Just a notebook.
Yeah.
Of jot points to remember.
Yeah.
You know what? That's my resolution for 2023.
Really? Start a notebook?
Start a notebook. Write things down. Then I'll remember things I say.
That's true.
And I can use sticky notes.
I mean,
and
in theory,
tabs.
In theory, this
and
works.
And I could make it color-coded.
Yeah. And
I don't need little scraps of paper for when I need to write things down.
But I like your napkins.
You do?
And garbage scraps. It's great. Once a book that it comes out. Mm-hmm. Once every 3 books that it comes out.
Yeah, I think I'll start a notebook. Yeah. Okay.
What are we betting that doesn't happen?
Brett, it's a resolution. You're not supposed to shame me if I can't.
Right.
You're supposed to be supportive.
The shaming comes after.
You're supposed to be supportive.
Anyways, then we get a description of the Guardian because the dome's cool, but specifically the Guardian's like 20 feet down on the floor. So there's 3 discs that have been set into the floor and inlaid with a long, thin wedge of clear crystal that points towards the center of the chamber.
The disc, though, is cloudy crystal, and the clear crystal
is the little
arrow. A wedge.
Yeah, is the
arrow.
Wedge. That's the arrow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they're all pointing there's 3 of them. And they're
pointing to the center of the chamber.
Exactly. And now there's a lady on a stool sitting beside each of the 3.
I see. Okay.
So it's important that there's 3 because it's basically triangulation. We get that later once it starts working. Mm-hmm. And then it looks like around the discs there's like markings like a compass or maybe with numbers. Yeah. It's not exactly clear. Right. Shalon doesn't know what she's looking at here.
Right. Okay. And neither do I.
Yeah. Well, it's partially magic and it's partially science.
Yeah. See, if I had a notebook, I would draw it out.
Sure.
For what I see.
You could do that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, it's one of those things that you can't really study because Serene goes on a big thing about, wanting to study it, but we can't study it because you can't channel here. Can't
the power to channel.
Yeah, it reminds me of like Matt's Triangle. Mm-hmm. How it's like really hard to study. We
can't study it because it makes us not.
But then Elaine's like, actually, maybe I can study it.
Well, yeah, and Elaine, if anyone can, it's her. She's the one who has the affinity for Triangle.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So
get her in here. Figure this out.
Maybe, but at least with the Foxhead Medallion, you can channel into it and observe like what happens.
Yeah, but here you can't even like.
You can't even. Which I have a question about later when it starts working. Like, is someone channeling in Farmatting or trying to? Like, how...
Okay, let's get there.
Okay. So they're all out on this balcony, and they are looking down at this thing, and then the sound of people entering the balcony draws their attention away from the Guardian, and we get that there are about a dozen women all dressed up in jewels like crazy... But Shalon can clearly pick out the first of the council because her head crown thing has real rubies and not just red enamel.
She likes that she can tell the hierarchy of people based on the jewelry.
Yes.
It works. It jives.
She really needs to be able to tell
she can work
who's
with
in
this.
Charge.
It's good.
Yes. Now, are you ready for a shot?
Okay. Oh, no. What? Why?
Because... The lady, who's the first of the council, has hair winged with white. And that's the same to me as white at the temples.
Oh, okay.
The white wings. Okay. Black hair with winged with white.
I forgot.
We were doing that game?
I forgot that we were doing that with the white and gray at the temples. So... I did notice that you brought the whiskey down.
I brought it, yeah.
But I was like, what Harry Potter reference are you going to make here?
Well, I also refrained from saying earlier that Shalon has a secret, and I really wanted to say, keep it secret, keep it safe.
That also
works.
But
I didn't want to take a shot at the top of the recording. That was not something I was into, and I knew there was another shot coming.
Okay.
So it's a double.
All right.
Just, I'm keeping track. I'm keeping track of the white wings in the hair.
But not the bronze dresses, apparently.
Well, no. Yeah. I don't think that...
No, I mean, literally, it was the first time that I've noticed the word bronze.
You noticed something.
Yeah,
Good
I did.
for you, Brett.
And it's like, doesn't matter.
Okay, let's get these shots poured.
Okay,
and I thought I would take down our custom Dragon Reborn symbol shot glasses we haven't used in so long.
Yeah,
what a
they're
lovely
fancy.
gift this was, and we don't use them enough.
Yeah, they're huge and gigantic
I
and
love
pretty.
them. I love them. Cheers.
Cheers to the white wings.
Oh, that wasn't bad.
Yeah, that was salted caramel Crown Royal.
Oh, that is delicious.
Festive.
That was very good.
Yeah.
That wasn't even that harsh. I mean, like,
Okay.
I can feel it burning a little, but I didn't even choke.
That's good.
Mmm.
Okay.
That's better than the blackberry whiskey.
Okay. All right.
Mmm, that is tasty.
Come up with another reference here.
Okay. Okay, so this woman who has hair winged with white introduces herself to the group as the first Council of Farmatting.
Yeah. She's the main lady.
Elise something?
Yeah.
Did you not even write it down?
No, it's just like the pronunciation because like the spelling is
weird.
Yeah. So,
I listened to the audiobook for
does
part
it say
of
Elise?
Elise.
Okay.
Elise something. I didn't get the last name, but...
Barsala.
Okay, so I can tell that she's very important.
Yeah. She's important.
Because you won't even say her name.
Well, no, it's just like, it's one of those ones where I don't even want to get into it, and it's a whole thing.
Okay. Anyway, she's here, and she gives the biggest, most glamorous greeting to Hareen that anyone has ever seen.
Hareen loves it.
Can you read it? Do you have it?
I did, yes. This, Hareen Din Togara Tuwins, Wave Mistress of Clan Shodin, and Ambassador Extraordinary for the Mistress of the Ships of the Athenmere, etc., etc., etc.
Yeah. It goes on.
Yeah.
No, I wanted you to read the whole thing.
Oh, yeah, no, that's it. That's what you got. I didn't even write I just wrote down
It goes on.
Yeah.
Your presence warms the hearts of all in Farmatting.
Yeah.
It's like crazy.
Yeah, and like, but the funny thing is that there's like nothing for Cadswin.
It's not actually for Hareen.
No.
It's a slight to Cadswain.
But also, she's got to have a reason of like, oh, we're going to accept you, and we're not going to accept you, Cadswain.
I look forward to learning about the sea folk people. Like, whatever. Athian Mier.
Cadswain calls, he's like, what, nothing for me?
Nope.
Nope.
Definitely not.
Thanks
and the mood
for bringing.
Just like shifts.
Yeah, well, because then even the first council fires back. She's like, "Oh, we're grateful you brought the Wave Mistress here, and you can show yourself out. Thanks."
Yeah. You can go now.
Yeah. See you later.
Yeah. And then Cadswain has other plans.
Yeah. Okay.
She says, "I think I'll stay for a while. Thanks for the accommodations."
Right.
But then Hareen speaks up and says Cadswin must stay. If she's unwelcome, then so am I.
Yeah.
And this is part of their bargain to be allowed
to come here
at all.
Yeah, Cadswin knows.
Covered her bases.
She knew what she was getting into.
Exactly.
Yeah, she knows.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, that's, I guess, okay.
Okay. So then Cadswain tells the First Council, don't worry. I'm sure you don't have those bad habits anymore that I need to correct.
Yeah.
And it's like, Cadswain, you're overstepping.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she's just, like, abrasive as per usual. So, poke the bear. But you gotta keep them off their guard for a while.
Keep them on their toes.
Because enact the plan.
Here we go.
This
is the plan, right?
This is the plan.
Is this it?
This is the plan.
This is gonna make way more sense to me.
Yeah.
Because suddenly Varen says, a man just channeled. Do you have many men channeling lately? And she's like, Spacey Varen, so this all works.
Yes. Because which one of the men in their group is missing?
Well, okay, so now that makes a little more sense. However, when I was reading, I assumed this was like the Rand encounter.
Right.
And one of the men, like Rochade, for example, who was like about to die, was like attempting to channel.
Okay.
But I'm confused as to how anyone can channel in Farmatting.
You can't.
But then does this Guardian pinpoint everyone who can channel?
So here's the thing.
Outside of Farmatting?
Yeah, not everywhere, but there's gotta be a radius. So that's why there's a discussion about, is this 1 ter'angreal or 3? Because we know that the men can't channel for a certain radius outside of Farmatting. But there's a different radius for women.
Right.
So that's 1 and then 2. Exactly.
It's farther for men.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the third aspect or thing that this does is it clearly points to men around... Or women around Farmatting who are channeling.
Because the little clear wedge of each of the circles changed position and turned color.
Yes, and Varen could tell, she could tell from the color, it seems, that a man was channeling.
And it turns red if a woman's channeling.
Yeah. So then it triangulates and they all point, they're like, that way.
So every time somebody channels within a certain
radius, they are aware of the channeling. And that's why you got the ladies on the stools down below who like go and look and then they talk and whatever. And they're clearly going to go look at maps to try and figure out like triangulation, beep, beep, beep. Where do all three arrows point? And then boom, that's where it must be coming from. The Guardian isn't a map necessarily, but it's like, hey, if all three arrows point in this direction, you could figure out where those lines would intersect. So, like, if they're all
pointing, like, north, for example.
Yeah, they'd all be pointing in the direction. So if the three arrows are a little bit further away from each other, they'd all point in one direction, being that's where it's coming from. So that's why, is the Guardian 1 or 3 triangle?
Because I thought that maybe, even though it acts like a steading, if somebody attempts to, like, try to feel the source, it can, like, sense that.
Well, but, I mean, that's the tricky part, is, like, from Shallan's point of view, she can't even sense the source. I get that now. So you can't, so it's gotta be from outside.
Outside of Farmatic. So then, like, but why does that matter so much?
Well, why does it matter? Because then there's someone close by who is channeling, and ooh, danger, because people channeling. Okay. And we kind of get the history of Farmatic, because there's also 2 notorious false dragons who are also from here.
Yes, no, we do get that, which we can talk about. I'm sure you're going to love talking about that.
Well, I mean, it's medium. There's not a ton of information we get, so. But yeah, so that's where, like, Narishma comes into it.
Right, okay, so that makes a lot more sense. So he's likely outside of the boundary
and they need to throw these councils off their guard and get the Guardian to activate, basically, when they wanted to
get Varen chatting about the Dragon Reborn.
Exactly, and for them to have, like, a real threat here and, like, oh, what's actually going on? So that's why he's gone.
So that's what happens.
Yeah.
So this Guardian thing has been activated, and the first council, she's like, oh, it's probably just an Ashaman. They're free to enter the city so long as they follow the rules. And then she turns her attention from Cadsuane to Varen and says, I'm afraid I don't know your name. And Varen is still staring at the Guardian, and she's like, all of you may call me Edwina.
There we go. Good fake name. There we
Shallan is like, what? That's not your name? Edwina. Okay. And then Varen / Edwina continues.
Yeah.
And says, well, do you know your history very well? Because this is the stuff I'm sure you're super pumped to talk about.
Yeah, Gwera Malisan. So one of the false dragons.
Apparently, he laid siege to Farmatic.
Yeah.
That lasted just 3 weeks.
Yeah. So even though a false dragon couldn't channel, he still took over the city that's, like, supposed to be impenetrable to channelers or whatever, right?
And then Cadsuane is doing her rehearsed role.
Yeah.
Oh, they don't want to think about that.
Good cop, bad cop. Yeah.
And then Varen keeps it up and is like, well, I was just thinking that he couldn't use the power and he still crushed Farmatic and it was terrible.
Yeah.
The worst thing ever that ever happened.
And it's like, oh, by the way, you know who also has armies?
The Dragon Reborn.
Dragon Reborn, yeah.
Alien, Tyr, Andor, Kyrian, tens of thousands of Aiel.
He's got tons of stuff.
I wonder why you're super cool about his Ashaman scouting you.
Yeah, because she just said that they're allowed in here, and it's like, why? Why are they allowed in here then?
And Cadsuane is like, okay, you frightened them enough, Edwina.
Cut it out.
Yeah. And then Varen is like, oh no, I'm sure if the Dragon Reborn wanted you, he would have taken you already.
Exactly.
And I'm sure he's, like, super concerned about the Shan-Chen. You've heard about them?
Yeah, because they're also going to get you.
They're coming on in.
Unless you piss off Randall Thor, and then he's going to come for you.
Yeah, I mean, like, you don't want to anger him, do you?
Yeah.
And then Cadsuane's like, fine, if you're going to talk about the Dragon Reborn, I'm leaving.
I don't even want to be here. I mean, Cadsuane knows that they're not going to talk to her, but they'll talk to somebody else, just not Cadsuane, so clearly it's like it's a plan, and it worked pretty well.
And the first council lady, Elisa, or whatever her name is, bites.
Yeah,
and is like, okay, people, escort Cadsuane and the rest of everybody else to the palace so I can speak with Edwina Sedai.
Yeah.
More about the Dragon Reborn. And then Varen and the first council head off together, and then the rest of them are all escorted off by some other people.
Yeah, by the other councils, or like 2 of them or whatever.
Yeah.
And then apparently Catsuin's also familiar with them because she starts
scolding them and
yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
And there's a whole thing because
Yeah.
maybe they're not acting the way they should be according to Catsuin, so...
No idea.
Yeah.
But while everyone is preoccupied, Hareen and Shallan have a moment to talk to each other, and Hareen is like, this place troubles you.
Yeah.
And Shallan's like, yeah, it's like I've lost my eyes. And then Hareen apparently does something pretty uncharacteristic, and she's actually nice.
Yeah, not a total dick to her sister.
And she says, I was afraid of the dark when I was a child, and you never left me until the fear passed. I will not leave you alone either.
Yeah.
So that's nice.
And they use, like, their first names, so they basically never do that, so it's like a double nice thing, so...
Yeah. Well, and it's just the 2 of them alone, which they probably aren't that way very often, right?
Yeah.
And so Hareen says, I might be able to truly bargain here, like, especially with that welcome, and they seemed actually really interested in talking to the sea folk. And so she said, Catsuin already shifted their balance, and you must try to find out why when you get close to her.
Yeah, like, what's this weird plan
Hareen
going on here?
Clearly picked up on this.
Yeah.
And Shallan is still a bit cautious about her sister's niceness, and she's still kind of worried that if her secret affair gets out, then that's going to be bad, and she's starting to worry about the terms of the Catsuin deal. So it's like...
There's a whole lot of undertones.
There's a lot happening.
Yeah, so Shallan's basically in a pickle here, so... I did learn what eye teeth are because there's like
knew
a weird...
These ones.
Yeah, canine teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. I didn't know what that was.
Oh.
But she's like, I'd like to get them by the eye teeth or something. I was like,
no, I want to string... I'm going to put her eye teeth on a string.
Yeah.
She's going to make a necklace
like
of
a shark
everybody's teeth.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Which is very aggressive.
I mean, a little bit, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah, we did it. Okay.
I don't know, that was pretty fine.
Yeah. I mean, we learned Farmadding's a place that has like a crazy weird Terangrial that can block channeling, and that's why Rand is here.
Seems super important.
Makes Rand's plan make a lot more sense because confirmation, can't channel, throw punch, stab people. There you go, with their own swords.
Yep.
It works.
Yeah, it does.
And maybe they're still here.
I would say yeah.
Okay.
I think so. I don't know if we've like rewinded slightly, because I know that Rand, as soon as that was done, he was jetting.
Yeah.
Like, he was going, they were packing up and leaving, and everyone else was also on board with the leaving plan.
Yes.
So unless something stopped them from leaving, like something else happened.
Like getting out the gates too, because they can't just travel out of here.
No, we have to get out the gates, and maybe some of the other Ashraman entered the city. They might have had a run-in. Like, there's a lot of things, but I feel as though this is maybe like a Rand just showed up here.
Gotcha.
And Alana, like, felt his move somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Alana can sense where...
Okay, does the bond have anything to do with the channeling? Would the bond, like, because Rand can't channel, would her bond... No, because non-magical people mostly have bonds.
Yeah.
So what I'm thinking doesn't matter.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. No, like, Alana can sense where Rand is, and as you get closer, you can tell more precisely where he is.
But, like, from Kyrian, she would just have a sense that he's to the south. Like, how did they know to go here?
I mean, you travel a couple of times. Like, you could figure it out. He's not as far away in Farmadding as he would be if he was, like, in Tyr or Ilion. So, like, she might be able to sense a little bit closer. Plus, Rand left all these crazy clues.
Right, and if Cadsuane has any sort of logical sense, like, they might have logicked it out.
It could, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's ways.
It feels a little bit like a stretch to be like, Alana just woke up and then be like, Farmadding! Like,
yeah.
Okay. We'll just go with it, though.
We gotta go with it for now.
We're just gonna go with it.
We don't know enough to not go with it. You gotta be okay with what's happening here.
Yeah. And I'm medium about it, but okay.
All
right. I am excited to read on, though.
That's good, yeah.
Because I feel like we're approaching the last 10 chapters of the book.
We're getting into it.
Yeah, there's only 35 in this book, so...
Yeah.
Nearing...
Getting there.
The crest.
It's like 6 episodes or so, yeah.
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 Okay.
And then we're done this book.
Moraine sure should show up anytime now.
Real close. That's like the big finale, right?
Actually, yes.
Okay.
I would love that. Don't spoil it.
Yeah, don't worry about it until the very end.
Stop spoiling.
There you go.
All right, so before you travel for the first time to a place where you just can't channel, I'm going to say that this is part of the pattern now.
Yeah, it's part of the pattern.
All right, that'll do it for us tonight. But thanks so much for listening, everyone. The Wheel Weaves is hosted by Danny and Brett, edited by Danny, produced by Danny and Brett with Passion Socks, Cody Felt, Mozyme, Moltude, Benjamin, Michelle O'Brien, Jonathan Reese, Jamie Young, Megan Smiley, Marta Thier, Margaret, Charlie Haz, Hannah Green, Lance Barden, Elspeth Ahola, and Adam, with music by Audionautics. Be sure to check out our Patreon page if you're interested in supporting us and the podcast. We'd love to send you some Patreon exclusive merchandise as a thank you, plus you'll gain access to our episodes earlier than everyone else, and at the time of this recording, we have over 40 bonus episodes for your listening pleasure. You can find all that and more at patreon.com/thewheelweavespodcast. For general information about our show and information like how to send us shot glasses, how to join our Discord, and how to get in touch with us, visit thewheelweavespodcast.com. Plus, find us on social media on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at The Wheel Weaves Podcast. And as always, be sure to give us a 5-star review because it really does make a huge difference in helping other people find us. And be sure to tell a friend, Riyadh, because referrals really are the best compliment. Thanks again for listening. This really is part of the pattern now.